To all the wombs out there listening, you're tuning in to The Whole Woman. WOMB, the womb. Yeah, here's a little philosophical unexplored chit chat. And if you want that in acronym form, let's do wisdom of maternal benevolence. Shout out to the spirit of wisdom. Without wisdom, where would we be? Where would we be? I mean, we would be in some foolishness. And I am just going to share some tips on motherhood, being a wife, being single, being a daughter, friend, niece, sister, aunt, all that jazz. But let me just talk right now from the motherhood point of view. And I'm just going to go into values. See, people do what they value, and typically they don't do anything less than what they value. And I'm going to give an example. Say, for instance, you may have somebody that they value money. All they ever talk about is money. Everything they do is about that money. When they are waking up, the first thing they think about is money. When they're going to sleep at night, the last thing they want to do is talk about money. And when you have people that value different things, you're going to get different results, and people have different expectations based on what they value. And so you end up having a situation to where you could possibly end up getting upset because this person believes different than you believe for whatever reason. And you could take offense to it, strong offense, to the point to where relationships can be damaged because why? There are different values. And sometimes we have a hard time thinking about the fact that people value different things. Every single day you're confronted with a different person that has different values, and that's okay. Actually, it's good because not only can you find strength in somebody else's values, but it offers a diversity. If everybody was exactly alike, the world would only be going in one direction. It wouldn't be so vast with inventions and with so many topics of interest. It would only be in one direction because everybody would be thinking the same. So the reason why it's important is because if you even go back to the tribes of Israel, every tribe had their specialty. In other words, every family had their specialty, or what they valued, or what they were operating in as far as their work is concerned. And to this day, we would benefit tremendously if we would teach our children craft, because they're not learning it in public school. We would benefit tremendously if we would take the time to give our children something that we wanted them to know. Say, for instance, you want your children to be maybe a doctor like you're a doctor. Then you would get them into the field early. Because if you didn't get them in the field early, then it basically is beneficial because it shortens their learning curve, especially when they're so pliable and impressionable in the younger ages, because they don't have the worries of working on a job and the demand of working on a job. So the time that they're spending in education, they could be learning and applying the skills that they're learning like immediately, especially with technology being the way that it is. And the reason why I'm talking about values is because people are getting divorced people are breaking up in their relationships because of not understanding and or appreciating the other person's values. If we understood values, that would help many relationships to be able to sustain. And that's not just like lover type relationships, it's parental relationships with the children. Just understanding these little people have different values. If you understand your children, it will help the family. Understanding what their strengths are, it will help the family. If your little person is, or your younger person, your son, daughter, whoever it is that's in your home, they may have a strength in communications, and it's your responsibility as a parent, especially the mother's. It would be in the mother's best interest to know exactly how to train the children with limited frustrations, because you don't want to be going against your own personal tolerance level. If you're not the type of mother that has a whole lot of patience to train a child to wash the dishes, to cook, and you want to yell at them because they broke a dish, or if you value possessions and you don't want the learning curve to be at your dishes, the detriment of your glasses breaking, and things are not being cleaned up the right way, then maybe get somebody else that has patience. You can still get the job done, but you can have maybe like another adult to coach your children. That way they don't suffer emotionally because you don't value cleaning up like you may think you do. Because we naturally do what we value, and we gravitate to what we value, and every day basically with ease we gravitate to what we value, so much to the point to where it consumes maybe like 80% of our day, because we're thinking about it. Even when we're working on a job that we don't want to work on, we still looking online to go straight towards what we value. And me, I'll give an example. My highest value is being spiritual. Everything about me, I think about being in prayer, or doing it, or think about fasting, or thinking about the Bible, thinking about topics that how can I assist in ministry, how can I assist people in their emotional intelligence and their spirit, etc., self-help, emotional well-being, all of that, all of it, all the time, without fail, to the point to where it's like I'm constantly looking into it, because I realize that it's the health of me. And if I'm not looking into nothing spiritual, then I get discombobulated and it rocks me. And it really is my maintenance. And it really is what I need to feed on. If I'm not feeding my spirit, then I really am just existing, and I become miserable, and I react, and I'm all over the place. So being spiritual settles me. It gives me creativity. It helps me to thrive. I have a plethora of topics to talk about all the time when it's regarding the Bible, or different things that is like philosophical, a little bit of psychology, and just emotional intelligence. Then that's all I'm waking up learning. I'm going to sleep learning, just always wanting to talk to people about it. It may bore other people, but that's my highest value. And so that's just one example. Um, Another thing that I value is food, and I'm always thinking about how to have food around day and night, thinking about what to cook, what I'm gonna eat, what's the best herbs to take, I think you get the point. So when you have somebody that's thinking about money the same way that um, they all the time thinking about some trading or how they can work 60 hours a week, or what could they do to get money day and night. They wake up first thing in the morning, they are thinking about money. When they're going to sleep at night, they're thinking about how to make money and keep money in their bank account and how to make it multiply, and that's their highest value. And other people have values. It's important to find out what values have become the person, like what are they invested in the most. And values can change over time. People can see or recognize their 5 top values, and that's how they operate. People do what they value. They are what they value, and it's a challenge when you feel yourself getting angry because you don't have understanding of somebody else's 5 values that they run their lives off of, and they're doing behaviors. Their behaviors are a reflection of what they value, and you see something that is not agreeable, is disagreeable with your values, and you have to decide if you're willing to just, if you're going to adjust to what they value, because they're not going to change if they're thinking about these things 90% of their day. So, and then also on top of the values, there are beliefs that are intertwined with those values, and then you will have a behavior that you see in somebody that it could cause an argument, and you have to decide, okay, they don't value what I value. And if you're going to argue with somebody about what they value, then the argument is going nowhere, and both of you are going to be heated because you both are not really taking the time to look at the initial anger in the situation and realize that anger can be dealt with. You can be angry, but when you're talking to your family members, especially the people that's living in the same house, the easier, less confrontational thing with a person to do is see how you can reason together so that you can walk in the same direction. And I had to figure out how to do that because, again, going back to somebody else, it seems like their highest value is money. When I'm talking to a person like that, I'm flexible and I understand that's their choice. That's what they want to talk about. And I have to find somebody that I can talk to about spiritual topics because that's what I really want to talk about. But in this 10% of me having education, or the amount of experience that I do have with money, then I can't have a decent conversation with somebody about money if that's their primary target. It's not evil for them to have that value as long as they're still operating in morality and having ethics with that. And they can tell me, you need to be doing business, you need to be doing stocks and trading and do this all of these different instructions. And because of the fact that 90% of me is going into spiritual research, that other 10% of my day with doing other interests that I'm not naturally interested in, it will cause a little bit of friction in my brain, because it's like I have to learn something new. And intellectually or analytically, I can find it valuable to know about money, because yes, I do need to pay bills. I do need to buy things and support ministry. So it's like I would have to take within myself to do self-discipline enough to make that 90%, shave it down to 80%, so I can take the extra 10% and invest that time into looking into money, something that I'm not normally interested in investing my time into, but there's a need there. So I would intentionally put it in my calendar so that I can at least reciprocate when I'm talking to somebody else that cares a lot about money. That way it's reducing the friction and the tension, that we're talking on the same we're talking the same way, at least as much as I can offer research to. I'm able to hold space for the one that I love to talk about what they value. And that is collaboration and cooperation that I can offer to those that are in my household. And with me training myself to do that for the ones that's in my household, it will extend to those outside of my home, because now I've developed a skill that I didn't previously have. And to be able to have, now I can hold a money conversation with other people outside of my home. And that was just an example of being able to understand values, because we get into arguments again about, you don't listen to me, I don't feel heard, I don't feel like you're paying attention to me, and I'm telling you the same thing over and over again. If both parties that were the person that was given the complaint like that, you don't listen to me, I don't feel heard, and that is a message of, I don't think we see eye to eye. How can two walk together except they are in agreement? And you agree with a person's at least 5 of those things that they are interested in, like you're complimenting each other in some type of way. You want to give, you want to take, and you are the summary of those that you hang around. So you are looking to cultivate each other, and a womb has so much richness to offer the person or the people that's inside the womb. And we're feeding each other, and we look to feed each other with so much richness. I mean, the quality of information is nutrient dense, and that's what we are looking to offer each other as a womb, and to offer wisdom, that our words are laced with wisdom and kindness and joy and intention and mindfulness, and that we structure our families that way, that we plan activities that are around those weaknesses, if you will, those things that we want to change in our relationships with each other, so that when we come out, or we're coming through the matrix, if you will, with whatever we co-created together, as far as whatever we manifest from us giving each other feedback, whether it's positive or what we call negative feedback, we take it as feedback and not as rejection and not as abandonment, but we take that feedback and we nurture each other, and until we can come off of the ignorance of, I didn't know how you felt previously, but now I do know, and now I am making my movements to make us a thing. And us meaning from mother to daughter, from mother to son, from wife to husband, from etc., etc. I am so intentional about making us a thing. And do I get it all right? No, I do not. I do not. I don't. But transparency is great. It's a great thing to be able to say, hey, I messed up. Because that means you're being self-aware. I messed up today. I apologize. I'm working on it. So as long as you can acknowledge, hey, I really understand your values, and every relationship is customized to that relationship and to all the, I just want to say, sometimes you'll have a person wanting to copy and paste relationships, and that's not a thing. It's not a thing at all. So the way I treat my son is different from the way that I treat my daughter. It's not appropriate for me to treat my daughter the exact same way that I treat my son, because they're two different people, two different genders, two different ages, and it's just not appropriate. And then on top of it, they have two different experiences with life. So I don't know where the belief came from. Like, mothers treat their sons different than they treat their daughters. That's right. It's supposed to be that way. It's been that way for a long time. And I don't see what the problem is. As long as we customize all of these relationships with understanding, wisdom, knowledge, knowing your children individually, knowing what their needs are, what they value. And I will post a test in the description to do a values check. It is something that I took. It's a test that I took, and I found it to be beneficial for me to even know that. All of these different tests are beneficial because it helps you to know yourself. And that's what I'm wanting my daughter and my future grandchildren to know. I want them to know what they value, what do they appreciate, and what are their beliefs, and be strong in it and be self-aware, because it's important. The more that you know yourself, the more, or I should say, the less likely it will be for them to have an identity crisis. Because if you don't know yourself, you're going to be more susceptible to having somebody spell it out for you, and they may not be what they spell out to you may not be in your best interest, and you may be taking on somebody else's instructions or moldings. And if you're going to do that, choose who you are going to be mentored by, and hopefully it's by 5 people who are where you want to be, so that you can extract the qualities of these 5 individuals and put it into your own ideology, your own values, and that way you can become, if you're not already sure about what you do value. All hope is not lost. There's a way to be the best version of yourself every single day. And with that, I'm just going to say peace out. And just closing out with, let's be nutrient dense. I hope I wasn't all over the place. I probably was. But this is just freestyle conversation. And, well, it wasn't really a conversation. It's just a dialogue. I mean, not a dialogue. A monologue. I love monologues. I love dialogues too. I just love talking. And especially when it's where I can pour out everything that I'm thinking or feeling at the time I get a chance to feed somebody. And I hope you did get something out of this. Please tell me if you did. I haven't previously been doing anything like this, but I was like, let me go ahead and just start, because people have been talking to me about, hey, I think you should just share what's on your mind, because you have something to say. So I'm here. And also, if you do want to talk to me, I will give correspondence inside of the description as well, on how you can reach out to me to talk if you want to schedule something. And again, peace out.